One, two, one, two. Mic check.
But that didn't happen, so.
Nice to see you.
Nice to see you.
What's going on?
Nothing, getting settled, getting
Yeah,
adjusted.
I hear you. I hear you. So I'm so excited, as you will soon see.
Okay.
Hey, how are you? Nice to see you.
We're up there. We're up there.
Sarah, can we turn the mic up? Hello.
Is that it?
Hello. Yeah. Hello. Hello. Hello.
I think
Hello.
it's good.
Hello. Hello.
That one.
Well, welcome everyone. It's really great to see everyone here today to our iCubed Institute for Inclusion, Inquiry, and Innovation opening session. Wow, we weathered a lot, and we're still weathering a lot of different things, and it's really great to see many of you all in person we haven't seen for a couple of years. So it's really fantastic to come together as a community. I know we're starting a little bit late, but we're all culturally competent. We know why. So what I want to do now is just introduce Dominic. Dominic is the executive director at the ICA, and he'll give us a warm welcome. Thank you for allowing us into your house today. Dominic.
Sure, thank you, of course. Yeah. No, really, it's great to see you here. And we were just saying how it's been great for us at the ICA to have so many VCU-wide activities in this space alongside our own programming. Been a lot of events in here like this, organized by the research office or the provost office, like the talk series that we do with the provost. So, I mean, the more that this venue can be used for all sorts of purposes, the better for everybody. So if you have ideas around that, just get in touch, because we're here for you, and this space is here for you too. And we actually did some great upgrades during the pandemic. So we can stream in and stream out and do all tons of stuff in this space. So it's great. I'm just going to plug the upcoming ICA season briefly before anything else happens here. We moved to a seasonal model, which means that all our exhibitions open at once, twice a year, and then we close in a certain way, but we do some other programs in the summer. But that season opening is week on Friday, September the 9th. So if you can come down, I do encourage it. It's like, food, drink, music, opening of all the shows. We hope that can be a great event for everybody in the university and across the community, and a chance to see the shows that are coming up, the 3 shows on the 3 floors here. Besides that, I just want to say that in terms of I'm going to stick around and hear what's coming up with iCubed, and I do hope that the ICA can be involved in new ways with the program of iCubed. And there's a number of people in this room that we've done things with in the past, and some current ones too. So so please be in touch also with your ideas for collaboration around the projects that you want to see happen, if you feel there's something that we could do to lend some value to that. Okay, well. Welcome again. Thanks. Ashir.
Thank you, Dominic. All right. So in between meeting with my finance director today and coming to here, I wanted to put together something that I could read from so I don't deviate from my script. But first, I want to introduce our new staff. Dr. Amy Atkins. Where is Amy? Oh, hey, Amy. Amy Atkins comes to us from, of course, VCU, where she got her PhD in human genetics. She comes from BIG. She was the director for undergraduate research for the Kobe Institute, and they're famously known for spit for science. So I really want you all to give a warm welcome to Dr. Atkins for being our scientific director. She really will help us in terms of broadening the pipeline. She has a lot of experience with training grants. She has a lot of experience in terms of undergraduate research, and she'll be working hand in hand with our Associate Director for Academic Programs of Research, Dr. Fika Zanjani, in terms of how we scale Commonwealth scholars and how we do a lot more amazing things. So I'm really excited that Amy has joined us. In terms of faculty, I want to welcome Dr. Daniel Gutierrez. Is Daniel here today? Hey, Daniel. It's good to not see you on Zoom. PhD in counselor education from the University of Central Florida, comes to us from the College of William & Mary, where he started as an assistant professor back in like 2000 or something, and then now became a tenured associate professor, and we're able to lure him over here to VCU, so welcome. I also want to take a moment to welcome Dr. Mackenzie Stokes. Dr. Mackenzie Stokes, hello. Dr. Stokes has a PhD in applied and social community psychology for North Carolina State University. Dr. Stokes was completing her second year as an NSF postdoctoral research fellow here at VCU. We're so happy to have you here. So welcome both you all, Daniel and Mackenzie, and also, of course, Amy. Can you give them another round of applause? Now I'm gonna get sentimental. All right. When I often speak about the genesis of iCubed, I usually begin in the year 2015, and I discuss the idea for an institute, the significance of its naming, the cost, the collaboration involved, and the initial successes of the institute. But in all actuality, the initial conceptualization of iCubed began 2 years earlier, circa August 2013. At the time, there was an intercampus bus system called the Campus Connector. And I happened to take the bus on this particular day from this campus to the Health Sciences campus. The bus was very crowded. If you all remember the Campus Connector, it was very popular. Standing room only. But I happened to see a small space for seating next to two young women who looked awfully alike. They happened to be twins. I asked, could I sit next to them, and they obliged, and we began a conversation. They were first-year students, freshmen, first week on campus pretty much. And we discussed their majors, criminal justice and psychology, and they also asked me what I did at the university. At the time, I was an NIH-funded researcher working with my mentor, Tom Eisenberg, and at the time we had just received what I recall to be the third largest grant in VCU's history. I spoke to the twins about my research, explaining how I'm working with an exciting team of people from across the university, many different disciplines, to examine electronic cigarette use among youth. These people were engineers and psychologists and health behavioral scientists and biostatisticians, but I began to see the twins' eyes kind of gloss over in faint interest, like, And so I quickly changed the subject to African American Studies. I was also the new chair of the Department of African American Studies. We had a total of 18 majors in the entire program at the time. I talked about how I was a double major in undergrad in psychology and biology, and how I used the combining of these two majors to have a better understanding of the human experience. You know the stuff we say as faculty, and how it better prepared me for graduate school. I shared my contact information with them as I exited the bus, and a few days later, as freshmen, they became my research assistants, working on one of the largest grants in VCU's history. They were instrumental to the success of several projects funded by the grant, to include the creation of our statewide tobacco prevention curriculum for middle school students. They also became the faces of the Department of African American Studies advertising and marketing campaign to recruit and enroll undergraduate students as double majors. I came up with a lot of crazy ideas. The Double Up campaign, 2 for 1, and several other campaigns that helped recruit the highest enrollment in African American Studies history in less than 2 years, from 18 students to, at one point, 112 students matriculating through the major. They were enrolled basically in a clinical trial for African American Studies' new curriculum, an antidote to the viral strains of racism infecting academic sciences, the way I put it. The twins were more than research assistants, more than campaign slogans. They also became a community for me. They advised me on many important decisions like hiring Mignon Guy, Adam Ewan, Chioke Ianson. They listened and entertained and engaged sometimes my crazy ideas like running the 5K together, what we used to call the Broad Street Mile, to promote African American studies. There were sounding boards for my plans too, like the plan to create an institute that recruited a bunch of people from different backgrounds, lived experiences, and disciplines together to solve challenges like the ones we're working on related to tobacco smoking among youth. The grants and the publications that I amassed from their work as research assistants with me, the dozen of students that they recruited and enrolled in African American studies on my behalf, the successes due to them were the reasons why the provost at the time had the confidence and faith in my leadership and recruited me to our office to create iCubed. So after 2 years of being their faculty mentor, the twins wished me well on this endeavor, and I went my way, and they went theirs. Michaela Stokes completed her double major in criminal justice and African American studies, and then went on to law school at Northwestern, and now she law clerks in West Virginia. Her sister, Mackenzie Stokes, completed her double major in psychology and African American studies, and then went on to North Carolina State University, and now she rejoins the institute that she helped inspire and create as a student. Thank you. You know, I created the Commonwealth Scholars Program within iCubed because of Michaela and Mackenzie. Every student at VCU, irrespective of their financial background, should have the opportunity at an R1 to have the R1 experience. I truly believe, and it's such a pleasure to see and speak with another cohort of CSP students today. They are fabulous students, remarkable students, and I'm certain each will have a successful and rewarding experience at VCU. But there's not many students like Michaela and Mackenzie. And so therefore, I'm establishing the Michaela and Mackenzie Award for the top CSP students starting this year. Man, my allergies, jeez. Some people are not gonna let me live that one down, but I appreciate it, you know, yeah, thank you, I appreciate it, thank you very much. So, I'm often asked the question, what is my vision for iCubed? Well, it obviously has come full circle. And I'm asking you, each of you, to get on the bus and take this journey again together. But this time, rather than create an institute, let's institutionalize the institute. I'm not saying that this is gonna happen. This is just a sheer vision. But imagine a college of transdisciplinary sciences comprised of communities of practice and research rather than siloed departments in schools. Imagine that these communities of practice and research were governed by principles of community rather than bylaws. Imagine that a 50-page strategic plan became a one-page logic model. Imagine the conversion of lived experiences and self-taught people into credit hours, scalable and stackable badge credentials and certifications. Imagine that these communities of research and practice had data warehouses that existed within the college, so when one person publishes, all 79 of iCubed members publish also. Imagine that course progress and success is determined by inclusive and innovative problem solving rather than the regurgitation of facts that anyone can search on Google. Imagine that all of our courses are instructed by panelists of faculty and communities rather than the so-called sage on the stage. Imagine that performance and success is determined by the success of your community of practice and research rather than individuals becoming independent investigators. Imagine getting on that bus with me. That's the vision that I have for iCubed. That's the vision that I have for all of us. I really want to say thank you for being here today. I'm supposed to go over all the accolades and things of that nature that Sarah prepared for me on the next slide. There they are. You know what you do. Right? But imagine that. that all of you all were able to do that. I would say 50 to 60% of it was done as individuals. We have some cross-pollinators here, like Dr. Marino is a cross-pollinator. He goes across transdisciplinary cores and he publishes and brings people along. Imagine if we all were cross-pollinating. We probably wouldn't have the bee problem we have today, right? But imagine we were all working together. Imagine what these numbers would look like. So listen, I know the quality of faculty and the quality of staff and administrators that we have in the room. I know that this is only facilitated by your ability to be here, your willingness to engage in what we call invisible labor, right? I know it couldn't be possible without the visioning of provosts and deans and so forth, but it's really your stick-to-itness, it's really your commitment, it's really your dedication. And I'm asking that you all just continue on that bus ride, because I think there's going to be some more beautiful things to come in the coming years. So thank you all for being here. Thank you for being here. And I'm looking forward to having a very successful year with all of you. All right? So I will turn it over to my good, great, outstanding colleague, Dr. Camille Burnett. Camille, thanks.
Thank you, Cher.
I'm such a man.
That's all right, I got you. Well, I think because we're in a theater, we're all kind of feeling a little theatrical and emotional. I just came back from The Color Purple, so I've been crying all weekend, so I'm not gonna start now. So anyways, I just want to start by saying thank you. It's very important for me to always lead with the spirit of gratitude. And I think all of you have been so generous with understanding some of the growing pains that we go through. And I know you were introduced to some of the new members of our team, but I'll tell you, it takes a village to do this work. And so I just want to acknowledge the rest of our team that is here. I want to thank Stephanie Hart, who's our Director of Finance, because this is our money engine who makes sure that some of us are able to keep things going behind the scenes, and we just appreciate what you do. She runs all day for us. Speaking of running, here's the track star right here, Sarah McCall. Sarah, all of you know, she's sending emails and nudging and always, asking you to send things in, and I just appreciate your cooperation with doing that. And we also now have Ron, who's joined our team, and he's also been, so yes, Ron wave. Ron's the newest member, and he's been assisting us as well behind the scenes. So I just wanted to make their work and their efforts visible, because not often you get to have the opportunity to kind of see the mechanics behind the engine. So these truly are some of the mechanics that support Dr. Nassim and myself and the rest of the fabulous team that you've already met. So moving on to some of the fun stuff. Speaking of support, we've really been trying to stand up a lot of structural elements, and you'll notice there's been a lot of new things that have happened within iCubed. One of the things we were able to do was get some feedback from all of you. And we asked for you to give us some insights in terms of what's working well, what are some of the things that you'd like to see happening, and what are some of the changes that you would think would be helpful to promote and facilitate your scholarship. And so we did hear you, and we tried to incorporate some of those things, and some of them are still being discussed and, of course, envisioned by Dr. Nassim, as he just shared with you. But some of the feedback that we got was related to having some more professional development opportunities and really around grantsmanship. And so we took that information, and we've identified and protected some dates, and we're grateful that we have Josh Hahn, who's here. And Josh is with the office, the VPR's office. He's a senior grant development specialist, and he will be working with Amy this year to facilitate some workshops. So what we need from you is for you to fill out a new survey that Sarah has developed for you, and that survey actually was developed with Josh, and as well with some feedback actually from Dr. Belgrave, so thank you for that. And it's going to ask you some very pointed questions about some of the focus around those grant workshops that you would like to see. And so that's going to be incorporated into the protected time that we have. So those dates will be the 14th of September, October 10th, and November 7th so far. So not to inundate you, however, your voice needs to be heard in terms of the direction and the topics that you feel that you would like to have covered by Amy and Josh. So the more participants we have in the survey, I know it's a busy time, it would be appreciated if you would fill it out so we can use that information and get prepared for our first workshop on September 14th. In addition to that, we've been having our leaders meetings, and those leaders meetings are happening every 3 months, and we just want to remind the leaders, and those are for the co-leads and the leads of each of the cores. We appreciate you attending the meetings, and we also want to remind you to make sure you carry that information back to your core as well. So they're not confidential meetings, there's not things that you cannot share. The goal is to kind of streamline the communication processes so that you attend the meeting and then please share pertinent information back with your core. And if there's members of your core who would like to join those meetings, we have an open door policy for that too as well. So those are pretty planned and scheduled, and we appreciate you attending. The data collection, as you can see, those infographics are a result of the data collection mechanisms that have been put in place. So those are going to continue to happen, and they're going to happen twice a year. So your core leaders and the leaders of the cores that are here, you will get the information around that data sheet, and that really kind of mirrors a lot of the data that you're probably already collecting anyways. It's not meant to be duplicative, but we just need to show, the evidence of the work that you're doing. So make sure that you complete those twice a year, and then annually your CVs are going to be asked for, and we're going to keep ongoing fresh CVs of all of you annually. And again, this is things that should be going on already, so we're not trying to make you do additional work. We're just trying to remind you there's just another bucket to plug that work in that you're already doing at. So that collection cycle is twice a year, and the feedback survey will be April and October. So moving forward, some of the reminders that we'd like to give you today is really around engagement and attendance at iCubed events. Lots of you are doing fabulous work, and I think it's important for us to come together and to support each other and celebrate our successes together. And because we disseminate our work in so many different ways, not necessarily the traditional conference or article, but really there's people who are doing theatrical productions, there's people who are on panels, etc. It's really important, and it's really expected that you attend and show support. We also have My Life, My Scholarship. We have a calendar for that. Sarah was going to go through that. We really like for you to come and attend and to listen to some of the experiences of your colleagues and to support them with your presence. And so to make that easy for you to remember, we have a compendium, and it's not a real compendium. It's a 4-pager, but so don't be daunted by it, but please make sure that you refer to it. It's linked into the agenda, and it really starts to outline a little bit more clearly some of the expectations. And some of that have been driven by your questions, to be quite honest. Some of you will come and you ask Sarah a question or myself, and we're like, okay, we just want to make sure more than one person has this question. Let's kind of document this in a centralized place. So the compendium is where you will go to look for any of those sort of expectations around, what is a core member's role and responsibility? How do we onboard people into our core? That's been one that's come up quite a bit. And there is a process for that. So now that process is actually written down and covered in the compendium. So all of you, please read that first, because when you send your email, we'll say, have you checked your compendium? And so and it's an easy read. Like I said, it's about 4 pages long. So please be sure to check that. And again, another thing we want to make sure is that you communicate with us. So we want to know what you're doing. If you have an event, if you've gotten an award, if you're being acknowledged, if you're a panelist, anything that you are doing, we want to hear about it. And it's just a matter of either forwarding an email or sending a quick link, however way you want to do it. We haven't put that in the compendium. We just want to make sure that you do it. And when you are doing those things, please, please, please be sure to acknowledge that you are an iCubed scholar. It helps raise the visibility of the profile of the program, your visibility, and it shows that we really do have a collaborative community of scholarship, and we can really start to see the impact that all of you are making. So that's all I had to say for today. Any questions or anything, we can field them at the end. So thank you, and I'll pass it on to Sarah McCall. It's okay.
No, my clicker's not
If
working.
I missed anything.
Let's see. No clicking? Oops, okay. Hi, everyone. So just a little more housekeeping things, largely around the Grand Challenge. And as we were preparing today, I realized that it's hard to believe that that pilot program was we're coming up on a year ago that was piloted. And I know there are some new folks in the room, so I just wanted to contextualize the Grand Challenge pilot program just super briefly. The Grand Challenge initiative was piloted for the iCubed research community teams, and the real purpose of it was to provide seed funds to the teams to advance curricular transformation work. And looking back at the notes, and the initial plan was for it to come to fruition and completion in a year. And so I think we're coming up on that, and I've been in communication across the cores, and I think that we're in several different phases, right? Everyone's sort of a little bit staggered in their progress, which is great. We're at a good point to check in. And so just one more survey, I promise I'm gonna send you two after this meeting, one about grants and one about the Grand Challenge. And this one is really just to gather some real feedback from each core. And I've gotten some of that anecdotally as I've met with some of you all about where you are, but more importantly, what you need, right? So some of you have been asking some really important questions around where do we go from here, right? We've built out, we've done the thing, right? We met the task of the project and the initiative. Where do we go from here? How do we continue this project? Do we continue this project? And so the survey is really to get some critical information around that so that we can come together and sort of think about the potential sustainability of the projects that y'all have developed. Ahead of that, or prior to that, also I want to remind y'all that I'm not a badging expert, not by far, but I do have a relationship with the OCPE office, and I've worked with them closely to develop some badges, and so I understand a little bit about the nuts and bolts of how to push that project, or push the badging forward. Chioke and I sat down and did it in like a 15-minute meeting, right? He basically had all of the raw material, and we put it into a table, submitted it to them, and he's on his way. His badge will be sent back to him, if not already. So I'm available for that. I'm working with the HWA Corps next week. We're gonna have a quick badging meeting and talk through what they need to get their badge sent off to the badge factory. So yeah, if you need that, if you're interested in that, please just email me. I'm available. I can hop on a quick Zoom with you and we can talk through some things, and I might have some information that will be helpful, and I can at least connect you with OCPE and get your badge on its way. I think that's it. Yeah. We're excited about this. I've been working with our comms team and Dr. Zanjani to actually hash out the full season of My Life, My Scholarship panelists. We thought it would be great to just present the full year. We want you all to have that ahead of time. We'd love to see you, as Dr. Burnett said, at as many of these as possible. Same setup, same location. We'll still be at Barnes & Noble with lunch at noon. Anything else we want to say around that? I don't think so. I think we're great. The first one is Dr. Cormier on September 7th, so noon on a Wednesday. We'd love to see you there, lunch provided. They've been fabulous, and so again, we have a full slate, a full roster of folks laid out for the entire year. One other little tiny thing I wanted to plug for you all. I'm going to add you all to the IES newsletter mailing list that's coming out. We're excited about that. We'll be featuring events, news, highlights across many programs that fall within IES at this point, and you all are part of that as well. So you'll be receiving a newsletter that hopefully you'll stay subscribed to. I think at this point, we'd love to go into some open time for questions, concerns. I will say that we have a little bit of a tech thing to consider. We are live streaming, so if you do want to speak, I'm going to bring a mic to you so that if we do have any viewers, they can hear your questions. Can we? Oh, great. Okay. Can we also maybe allow Josh to just say a little something about his? Yeah, Josh, do you want to come up for a moment before we open it up to full-on Q&A? Josh is hosting the first grant workshop on the 14th, and I'd love for him to just give you all a little context about that.
Yeah, so my name's Josh Hahn. I'm a senior grant development specialist in the Office for the Vice President of Research and Innovation, and Sarah and then Amy approached me about starting a partnership with iCubed to meet some of these professional development desires that you all have, and that's very exciting. So I'm pleased to present in September, and also we're discussing about different ways that we can support you all. And I also wanted to make a plug for our Grant Academy, which you can apply for through our website, and many iCubed scholars have gone through it. It essentially helps you to apply for your first major research grant. So feel free to talk to me, or I'm sure Sarah will help me get the word out about that as well. Thanks.
Thanks, Josh.
Awesome. Thank you very much. Before we open it up for questions, I just want to make sure I plug Chioki Jansen, who has the podcast conference coming up October the 14th and 15th. Oh, yes. All right. So please look out for that and disseminate. Yes, I'm Chioki. No, I'm trying NPR. No. But I also want to say, we talked about a lot of the internal administration for iCubed. We're really trying to set an infrastructure in place to support the amazing work that you're doing, both on the research and academic, as well as the community service side. On the community side, I also want to say that in the relaunch of community engagement, iCubed was front and center for me in terms of how we're reconceptualizing it and how we're relaunching it. And I just want to take a moment to introduce a few people who are here from our renewed community engagement plan or vision. And I want to introduce our Associate Vice President for Community Partnerships, Dr. Magbuba Musavo, who's here in the audience today. One of our iCubed progenitors as well. Stephen Davenport, our Assistant Vice President for Social and Economic Development. Stephen. Dr. Sherry Gurmais, Executive Director for the Collective Urban and Regional Impact. And I can't see. Hey. Verinda Cobbs, who is our Senior Manager for Civic Innovation and Partnerships. Verinda. We've also hired Richard Killingsworth, who is our Executive Director for the Health Hub, as well as Dr. Faith Wilkerson, who will be our Interim Director for the Marion Francis Youth Center. And so what we're really attempting to do is create an infrastructure for all of us, not just iCubed faculty, but all faculty and staff, students, as well as community partners, in terms of being able to do transformative things to help build and create more thriving communities here in Richmond. And more to come from Makbuba and her team about the strategic planning process around that. So I really wanted to say thank you from the bottom of my heart for them coming into the fold and really helping to scale the amazing work that they used to do with iCubed, many of them. Stephen was a funder of iCubed. Makbuba was a progenitor and one of the cores for iCubed, but really scale that work on an institutional-wide level. So I'm very appreciative to them. So with that being said, I did want to just take a moment to open it up, and any question that I can't answer, I'll hand it over to the very capable Dr. Burnett. Thank you. Any questions from anyone? Seeing none? All right, so let's eat. Is there food today? Do we have food? No. Any questions? Any comments? Anyone? Announcements? Yeah, I know there are lots of announcements. Chioki, why don't you properly introduce? Yeah. Ladies and gentlemen, Chioki Jansen.
Thank you very much. Hey, everybody. Chioki, Arts and Arts Culture. What is the name of our core? It has so many names. Why are there so many names in the core? Thank you very much. I'm very excited to share that here at the ICA, we will be hosting Resonate, a Richmond podcast festival. It's the first ever festival of this sort for Richmond. It will have many, many things. There will be a pitch party, a Shark Tank style contest in which the winner will get a $10,000 pilot contract. There will be 2 days of podcast sessions. Any of the podcast producers out there know that there's always a problem to be encountered. How to write something, how to promote something, how to negotiate a podcast deal. We have experts from the world of podcast producing who will share all of these things for all of the attendees. We will have an art exhibition of podcasts, if you will. We will be setting up an elaborate thing that will probably hang from the ceiling and where you can listen to new audio works. And we're also going to have live performances. One of the best podcasts ever made called Love and Radio will be doing a live performance here. And then another podcast by a woman called Sharon Mashihi, who did the podcast Appearances, will be doing a live show. All that and then some, we'll say. So that's October 14th and 15th. The website is resonatepodfest.com. Holler at me if you want a discount on tickets. Thank you very much. What's that? Oh, yes, definitely.
As long as you remember the core name, right? I know, I understand. Other announcements, I know that many of you are doing exciting things or maybe have some things that you might want to share. Can I put some people on the spot? I'll just walk through the audience, you know. You want to say something? No, okay. Faye? Yeah, no, you have something to say.
Well, since you insist, Sashir, I just want to say, first of all, just walking here and seeing my old peeps, because we haven't seen each other in person. So there's Makbuba and Wendy, me, and where's Kelly? So we were like the original. Well, oh no, there are others, but we were first. Yeah. So it was just wonderful. So this connection is great because the four of us met, and then of course we added Chelsea and Christina, and Cecilia. So thank you for the opportunity for us to be together again. Yeah, and we're with the Culture, Race, and Health Corps. The original.
The OGs or the OCs. Original cores, right. Anything else? Mark Boo Boo, would you like to say anything about community engagement?
Yes, I would. Well, I'm excited about it. This opportunity to scale up community engagement. I've been at VCU, as you know, for 12 years. And I've learned a lot of things and have been involved in community engagement. So my goal is, with the wonderful team that we've assembled and all the wonderful work that you're doing, because my goal, those of you who know me, is really about working in collaboration. And that's sort of my hallmark. And I plan to do exactly that again, to collaboratively figure out how do we move forward, how do we make a real impact, and how that impact can be sustainable. For me, that's the real thing, that how can it be really mutually beneficial with communities? So I'm honored. I take this position really seriously. I think it ought to be taken very seriously, because the work that we do has to have meaning, and it has to be sincere and authentic. It's not going to be easy. I have no illusions about this, because I've been doing this work for a long time, but I think it can be done, and I think it can be done collaboratively.
You have the mic. I think you have something to say. Yes. Where are you going?
Hi, I'm Maurice Gattis. I'm the associate professor in the School of Social Work, and I'm in the LGBTQIA+ core. I have the microphone. I'm assuming I'm supposed to mention that I received a Fulbright, and I will be moving to. Thank you. Thank you. And I will be moving to Cape Town, South Africa, working at the University of Western Cape, doing research. Yes, indeed. With NGOs with youth experiencing homelessness in Cape Town. So I'll be there January through next August.
Awesome. Okay. Thank you. I know you're going to give me later. I'm sorry. Carry forward. And I'm not talking about money. I wish I was talking about money. That's Stephanie's department, but carry forward. I was out in Arizona. Not the Public Enemy Arizona, but Arizona, and I saw someone's exhibit, Banking While Black, at Arizona State University in Sun Devil Stadium. Magnificent. Did you all see that? Did you all read about that? Fantastic. But I want to talk to Mr. Carryford. Mr. Carryford.
You did no warning, huh? Yeah, I want to say, deeply, I was going to sneak out. That's why I sit back so. But thank you, Ashir. Thank you, iCubed. Thank you, this community. having time and space to create and develop is critical. And this is a special situation. And because I've been given the past few years, since 2018, I came to visit in 2017 as a visitor, but then it changed to, you know, we have a committed relationship now. And that was a joke, by the way. And, but I've been able to develop a lot of ideas, and I've learned a great deal. And during the development, 2 years ago, I bought a building near the continuing education program on Fushi and Cary Street, 7 East Cary. I wasn't sure what I was going to do with it, but I was just been developing ideas. And I'm just happy to announce, thanks to your support and everything, I was able to, I'm getting a grant from Mellon Foundation for $1 million. And also another $1 million from Ford Rockefeller Foundation to do, thanks, to do some work. Is not just, it's beyond social practice, it's about actually addressing the narrative. And every single person in here, every single discipline, every single area, we must work on that, because so many false narratives, even the very foundation of this country, we can argue is built on mostly false narratives. Because when I'm here, you know, I'm on Powhatan land. When I'm in South Carolina, my childhood home, I'm on Cherokee land. When I visit my friends in Seattle, you know, I'm on Duwamish land. And so this space is going to acknowledge aspects of history, women that are basically invisible in certain chapters of history. It's going to be talking about, you know, black inventors. You know, we know about Edison, but Edison's light bulb didn't work. He was his assistant. If you don't know who he is, that's why I'm doing what I'm doing. But thank you very much, Ashir.
Awesome. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, absolutely. Other announcements? Pam Parsons, yes, she does. Pam. Come on down. Come on.
Okay. Well, I think our core has a couple of things, and I'll be embarrassed, so Elvin, help me if I leave one out. So Ana Diallo has received a special fellowship. Do you want to name that?
I'm not really sure about the entire name of the fellowship, but it's a birch. So it's a K, it's an internal KL2 award. And I will be working and learning about dietary patterns and how they influence social determinants of health in urban areas.
And then FICA and Lana are both here, and they've received funding from, I think, more than one source for their brain health initiative, so that's growing. And our core as a whole is progressing to put in, it will take us a whole year. Every time I hear you say something, we try to do it. So it's going to take a whole year, and Lana and FICA and Elvin are leading it, but to help us put in a grant that's core-wide, that will and be transdisciplinary across with other cores too. So that's going to be a lot of work. And then I think Camille's waiting for me to say that we did receive a HRSA grant to expand our program into rural and also other urban areas that are hard to reach here for services through mobile van services. And that's a 4-year project, and it was a significant amount of funding, and we've been able to expand our team, and we're extremely excited about it. We will be able to reach the Petersburg area as well as the areas around the Southwood Apartments that has a mostly Latino population, and then 2 rural areas in Essex and Mecklenburg. And, you know, once you get out there, then you get to do some research. We've already made a new friend. I accosted him when he came in the door again today, and see how he sat close? So we're making new friends of people that have similar interests with other cores that will work with us over time. So welcome, Daniel, and we're looking forward to working together.
Spike, you want to say something about your grant? Yeah.
Hi, everybody. I wanted to, so as you guys know, I run the Commonwealth Scholars Program, so I want to thank everybody that worked with me through the entire summer to review, interview, and accept Commonwealth Scholars. So today was their orientation. We had 18 Commonwealth Scholars, more than we've ever had. We're so excited. And the feedback I'm getting, the caliber keeps going up for our students, so we're so interested. And I think one of the new avenues we need some marketing students in our Commonwealth Scholars, because we have a lot of story projects that we want to run. So we have plans to continue to expand. So thank you for all that.
We have a need. So marketing. We need to know how to connect to get marketing students engaged. So anybody know how to help us?
Let's talk to the School of Business.
Yep. School of Business. We need a new core.
Represented in iCubed. Yeah. I didn't mean to call out School of Business, but anything else? There's a lot of exciting things going on. Some of us may feel a little uncomfortable to share, but we'll. I'm sorry. And I'm getting my steps in today.
Hey everybody, I'm MK Abedu in the Racial Equity, Arts and Culture Core, Dr. Ianson. It's so great to see you all in person. It's been a really long time. So I also, as Paul expressed, I'm really grateful for the space to invest in this research and community and invest in applying to work with communities. And so I've been feverishly writing mini grants, and over the summer I got a lot of them actually. So I can't necessarily say the names, but a National Fellowship in Dance for artists working in socially engaged practice, and then one that supports touring, and that one specifically is rooted in Hopkinsville, Kentucky, where my ancestral family is from. And I'm really excited because I'm working with Bell Hook's family because she actually grew up alongside my mom's family to support young women and gender expansive folks engaging across generations. And so that work premieres next May, and we're really excited also for how it's going to deepen here in Richmond in the fall.